How's it going?
Okay, so what I'm currently actually doing, I'm continuing investigating how the contracts is creating. So yesterday I had a call with Mohammed. To be honest, this logic is pretty complicated. So that's what I found. So we have inherited contract if we don't have. So there is a different flow for the existing learners, and if the learners have a contract, if the learner don't have active contract and so on. So yesterday I had a call with Mohammed, and he did describe it me a flow in general. So today I'm dive deeply into the codes to get better understanding how it works. So yeah, I'm finding something, but the thing is um I dropped the document to Muhammad to have a look if I everything covered there correctly because let me share my screen. I will show you what I'm talking exactly. Mhm. Where it is. Here we go. Yeah, so Muhammad and shared me these things. Actually, how the um, contracts works in general. So I dive deeply into the code, and so as I understood, so after O0, after the registration, we have a two flows. If if user have contracts or or don't have, but in any way, so as I understood, if the user don't have any contracts, it will actually redirects to the V11 page, and there he able to choose the course. So that's how I understood. And then so what the whole logic is currently implemented in V11. So we have nothing in the broker app right now. So that's what Mohammed said. So yeah, and according to the document, Uh, so here is the things for the new learner path and for the existing learner path with active contracts and without active contracts. Uh, yeah, so that's how the that's how the V11 works, but it's get more complex if we have inheriting contracts. We have uh, we have a loop, we have a for each where we checking the inheriting contracts and we trying to find the existing contracts. If we have the contracts, uh, this path with active HANA contracts, then we are gonna continue login and we don't adding a new contract if if the existing learner without active contracts. So we redirecting not to the this particular page, and there we are registering a new course. So in general, that's how it works right now. So that's I as I understood. I haven't checked this in my local mom machine because so I just dive into the code and I check how it works there. Yeah, so that's what I currently see. Well, this is the um, w- let's say draft result of my investigation because it haven't confirmed it yet. Yeah, and what I assume how it will be work. If we're having two services, the firstly we will call integration service, and I have to call provision services, and so the logic of the contracts. things should be encapsulated there in the provisioning service. So the my service, it will be responsible for the creation. So as I understood, so thinking of
Your,
the in this way.
can you say what your service is responsible for again? Sorry, the integration service. I didn't quite hear you.
One sec, one sec. Here we go. So we have the integration service. I'm instructing ML all data that we have currently user of the Auth0. Then I'm calling the provisioning service, and there we have create of update students email, last name, and length. I'm then as a response, I expect to have a student ID, created date, and has septic contracts, and need to have a registration. So if
Yeah, that's fine. That's good.
if I
Just
need
remember they're called learners. So
yeah.
when you code this, it'll be learner ID. It should be learner ID. I know it's the student table and it'll be called the learner, the student ID, but
Mm-hmm.
it'll need to be called the learner ID for when we switch.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And yeah, if I need to re-registration, I will call the provisioning service, and I will call action the assigned contract, and will pass the learner or student ID and client code Phillips and program code. In general, I think it can be working this way.
What do you mean by needs registration there? Because we've got determine redirect, which has active contracts or just assigned, then go to the home page.
We have
I'm not quite sure on that bit there.
we have a free flow. So the first flow it's a new learner at all, without any contract. The second flow it's we have a learner but without active contract, and the third
So
flow,
there's that the
yeah,
needs registration.
yeah.
Okay. So needs registration here is referring to the flow where they don't have a contract, an active one.
Yeah.
And then the last one is they obviously have an active contract, so they go to the home page.
We just don't do anything, and we just redirecting to the home page.
Okay, cool. So given that the fact that some of this stuff is going to live in the provisioning service, do you have enough information now to extract and get the logic for everything you need up until the point where you pass the data to the create or update student and the assigned contracts?
I think yes, I'm currently have already investigated how the existing flow works. I mean, that has been implemented in B11. So I don't have any blockers. So I just waiting what Mohammed said regarding this, because I need to have a confirmation if here. So here is the most complicated logic. And so to make sure if I investigated correctly, because yeah, as you can see in here, so the field specific reject if the same active program already exists, and we have some validation if we have more than two programs. I didn't exactly get what does it mean and which case we trying to cover by that, but I think we going to. Um, I'm not sure. Do we have any cases where we have?
Yeah. So think of a program as if like they get assigned to learn English, let's just say. So they'll be assigned digital English, but they could also want to learn Spanish, or there's some like soft skills kind of stuff that they can learn that would have their own programs. And then they'd still, in my head, I think Brian would just get directed to the learner app, right? Because then they just do everything there. So it doesn't really matter how many contracts they have in theory in terms of where they go, because the learner app should handle that, I think.
Yeah, I think the learner app has logic in it for if they can register for additional programs, right?
Yeah. So just to throw a spanner in the works, contracts are going away at some point in the distant future, they're going to be replaced by a thing called programs and licenses. However, in order for this to work, we have to keep the contracts going. So your work's not going to change. However, what may happen is at some point, the program that's referred to here is essentially a contract, but there's also programs in the database which are not the same thing because they're in a program table, but they're not the same thing.
Yeah, what the database calls
my God.
programs
Okay.
are actually subjects.
Are actually subjects. So what Mohammed means here is that reject if a learner already has greater than 2 active subjects, but in the database they're called programs. So when you think of it as subjects, it means like
Okay.
English, Spanish. You know, that kind of makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
Because I'm trying
So
This is also the config. Like Service Broker captures some of this config as well for like Philips and stuff. It has classes, JavaScript classes that have this config in. So like certain companies will be able to register up to 6 programs for their learners. So they'll have one subjects. Sorry, they'll be able to register up to 6 subjects for their learners, and they'll be assigned one when they onboard. But then after that, they can add more, like when they want, up to whatever number their config says. So for Philips, in this case, it's 2, which I think is the default case for most of the companies that do this. Again, not all companies do this because it's fun to be confusing. But some of them can have up to 6, and all of this config at the moment for how we decide who gets to see the dialogues for registering additional subjects and stuff lives in Service Broker in JavaScript classes, which is really annoying.
Yeah.
Oh my guys, that the logic with the contracts with the contracts, it sounds super complicated. So
Yes.
we have a different definition. So in database we have the different name of the tables. Then we in the code we name this differently. Yeah.
Yes.
And this is actually, if information is pretty valuable because it's make me better understand how it works because otherwise I just in some cases I just miss the flow why this logic implemented in this way in the code, but in database we have something different, so it's not much in my head. So how
So it's in no one's head. Don't feel bad. Like Boris will know this. This is a very complicated thing. It's full of legacy stuff. All the language is different. It's something that we're trying to sort out, which is why I keep saying to you that we call them learners now, because everywhere in the Service Broker, everywhere in the learner app, everywhere except V11 is called a learner. Like that's why when you do variables and stuff in the code, for example, when you check for 2 active digital programs, we would like you to write 2 active subjects. Do you know what I mean? Like, because that's what they are. And that way, then when we're talking about it, like you just found out, it makes much more sense. It's because they've used vague terms. And also the problem with contracts is they're used for everything. So it's not just for like learner assignment, it's for like trainers in some aspects, it's for groups. It gets very complicated. So what we'll need for this is we need to make sure that we're just focused on this POC. And it's very important that what we're trying to achieve, which will probably change when we do another integration, the code, I mean, is we just want to add a config for this kind of integration, and then it just works. So we don't want to, where we've got Philips specific, reject if the same active program already exists. That should exist as a config. It should be in the map, one of the mappings, the config map I give you, the one of them. There should be stuff in there that says like how many digital subjects or something that they're allowed, and there'll be a number which will be 0, 2, or 1 or wherever. Yeah, and like just remember that this all needs to be added to the config and then checked from the config, and then we apply that config to the information coming from the SSO author, and then you'll send all that data to the provisioning service or whatever we decide to call it, yeah, and then that provisioning service then will handle. So if you can focus on getting the code to a point now where it's just about to call the provisioning service, and then obviously the bits afterwards. So you've got all the information for assigning the contracts, you've got all the information for getting the learner, and then routes. Then me and Ryan and maybe Valerio and other people will work on this new provisioning service, which will go we'll have to work out how we're going to do the service-to-service communication. But ignoring all that and just focus on the logic, because Chris S. I've spoken to today, and he wants to get this proof of concept out as soon as possible. So if we can get it to a point where we can tell the stakeholders that we can add a config for a new integration with these values and it's going to work, that will be really, really beneficial. So don't worry too much about the DevOps side of it. Focus directly on the stuff that you can, and then we'll work on the provisioning service. If something does arise where we don't think that we can get the provisioning service up in time for before you finish the integrations, then we will have another discussion about putting specific logic in the integration service for now, if that makes sense. But it'll depend on a timing thing. I'm hoping to get work started, and me and Ryan have had chats with Chris today about setting up the infrastructure across all our environments for all the different services that we want, so that when we do have code in them, someone can just start working immediately rather than having this whole setup. So even the integration service now, we'll be working on getting all that deployed into the correct environments, if that makes sense. The only issue we have with integrations is that some clients don't have the ability to, they don't have like a testing environment. So like for the integrations in our development environment will like never work almost. So we'll work that out. But if you could just focus on the logic, follow this path. I know it's very complicated. If you have any questions, Mohammed is good for the V11 stuff and the code and like the low level details, but Niha is probably the best person to speak to in terms of what actually happens. So he'll tell you like when a learner joins, this contract is created and then this one gets created for this reason. He's very good at that, and he'll be good to speak to as well because he'll be writing all the test cases for this to pass. So for example, if he could give you a list of the test cases that would have to happen for a new learner, an existing learner with no contract, and a learner with an active contract, then he'll tell you, he'll know exactly in the database what needs to be there without even having to look for the code because he checks it all the time. So he might be another person that you might want to set up and speak to. Have you spoke to Niha before?
Not yet.
Okay.
We have acknowledge sharing and so on. So just had a few sessions regarding that. So just how the whole application works, but we haven't
general
covered
one.
exactly the floor where we create the learner.
Okay. What we'll do is, I'll message Niha. I won't take any time away from you investigating and sorting out this logic because it's important. And let's see how quick we can. Well, not that I'm rushing you. I don't want it rushed. I'm just saying that like let's see if we can get the code working and there's like some. Ryan's give you some good resources, but we can get the code ready so that it can work with the provisioning service, and then it may be after a chat with Chris and if I've set it up correctly, we may do the provisioning service in C# now instead, because resources. Excuse me, I just had lunch. Are just more. We'll be more able to do the code in C# if that makes sense. So. And then maybe if myself or Ryan aren't working on it, then you can just quickly cross over to the provisioning service, and because you'll know what needs to be sent from the integration side of things. But we'll have to oversee it very carefully because there's other things that are going to be using that service, if that makes sense.
Okay. So basically, I can start working with the flow that I currently shown here.
Yeah.
Okay,
Just
okay.
grab all the data,
Okay.
even write up the send the fake API calls if you want and just comment them out. Just get it as myself and Ryan are not going to reject a pull request because there's a commented out thing that sends it to a URL that may or may not exist yet. So set everything up ready to go in the flow, and then we'll hook it up afterwards. I think that'll save us a lot of time.
Okay. How we will cover this logic of the create of update and students? Should I create some kind of mock, or should I because
if you're happy to create mocks, that's great. If you think that it would be beneficial for you to create like a mock API within there, then that would be great, because in terms of internal testing, we could then run some automated tests on this every time we deploy, and then we'll catch any changes or errors. So I think that's a good idea, Ryan.
Okay, because to not block me by by this second service, by provisioning a service, so I can work in this way. Just mock all calls that I will invoke the provision service, and that's it. And just put some blank URL in the
Yeah,
config
it
text.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We can change it afterwards, 100%. Yeah. So don't worry too much on the specifics. Just get it working. If the URL is something completely different to what you've done, we'll just change it afterwards. Like we'll just work all that stuff out afterwards. Okay.
Okay. And regarding the registering of the new learner, if it doesn't exist at all in the Postgre database, so I think I will go with the Dapper as we agreed before. So because originally I expect that I will not be able to access the database at all because it will be responsibility of the provisional service. But currently I see yes, I have to access.
You do, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the,
I
the,
need to
the
access to create a new learner if it's new learner in our system.
yeah, you'll need to pull the relevant IDs for like the company code and stuff. So read wise, yes, you should have like full access to it. Let's just say for blanket for now, just say assume that anything in Postgres you can read from, and then the provisioning service will be responsible for just inserting, if that makes sense, just adding the records and setting them all up. But we'll still need all that data prior to make sure it works, because there's going to be the provisioning services endpoints will be universal in the sense that like we may have to do something smart because the contracts that get assigned for integrations might be substantially different to the contracts that come in from program automation. There might be fields which you don't need to send, which other people are sending. So then we have an issue with like which ones are defaulted, which ones aren't defaulted. And if you have actually looked at the contracts tables, they've got like 50 fields, one in the service contract, and then another 50 fields or so in the inherited service contract. And we've already got some of that stuff already in the service broker. So it may be that the provisioning service may be the service broker, if that makes sense for now. But we'll work it out. So if you could mock that and just grab the data from Postgres, that's fine. You could even grab it from Mongo, but yeah, I think so. Is that right, Ryan? You could grab it from Mongo, really, because none of this is mission critical.
Yeah, I think so. It should all be replicated. Like, it's nothing that needs to be. The replication lag shouldn't cause an issue, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, so kind of need a minute. Should we just do Mongo? I feel like it's probably the best for this. I don't know. We've already decided on the lightweight ORM though, haven't we? That you picked.
You mean the access to the database? Yeah, I used the Dapper for that. It's just like so I just creating a DTO files for the responses, but the code is
yeah, that's fine.
kind of it's just string. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, just carry on using Postgres for now and Dapper. That's fine.
Okay. So I will start implementing the code, and we will just mock all the set services. It's two actions. It's create or update students and assign contract. And yeah, so I don't see if any blockers if I use mock.
Cool. Great. Awesome. Sounds good.
Cool. Do you need this document? Probably I will forward it right now to you.
Yeah, I think it'd be beneficial to first to have the document. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, cool, great.
What I'm going to start doing is probably invite Nia into these meetings, Boris as well, as a tentative person, so that if he's available, he can. I know he's probably too busy now, but at least he knows that what's going on because he's probably going to be the one that's going to be testing it.
Okay.
Cool. Awesome. Cheers, guys. Have a good one.
Cheers. Bye.
Cool. See you later, guys.